Hi everyone, if you've just joined us from my previous review of Frank Braynard's 6-volume set of the Leviathan, welcome back. If this is your very first video, well then welcome on board, but I do recommend that you at least watch my previous video about Frank's 6-volume set of the Leviathan, just so that you understand a bit more about that ship's history. Anyway, let's get started. The Leviathan is relatively well covered in ocean liner literature. And aside from the 6-volume set that was just discussed in my previous video, there are a few other books out there that won't occupy as much shelf space or put as big a hole in your bank account. Being the second of a trio of ships, the Leviathan tends to get lumped into books that deal with the entire trilogy. And one of the better ones that look at all three ships is Classic Ocean Liners Volume 1. Written by none other than Frank Braynard himself. Now, the entire book is a condensed look at the lives of all three ships, and his chapter on the Leviathan is literally a super summary of his 6-volume set. So we've got some deck plans and text, and some photos. But what this chapter benefits greatly from is that he is able to include anecdotes and stories that came to light after the original set had been published. So there is additional information in here that was not originally available for him to put into his set. So you've got this one. For those who want a more photographic focus, then you should check out this book by Les Streeter. Again, this is part of a trilogy, with the previous book looking at the Imperator, which became the Berengaria, and the third book, which looks at the Bismarck, no, not the battleship, that ended up becoming the Majestic. And as you can see, this book is heavily photographic, with color elements as well included. And the stupendous amount of photos that Les is able to utilize in not just this book, but indeed all of his books, is a standout feature. And I've included a link below so that you can check out his entire catalogue of books. Now, I know that through the interwebs there is a German book floating around that is crammed full of diagrams and deck plans of all three ships. But for those who are wanting an English language option, one great place to start is Volume 2 of Mark D. Warren's summary of Shipbuilder articles from 1906 to 1914. The Vaterland is covered towards the end of this book, and we get, once we find it, and the Vaterland is covered towards the end of this book, which I'll hold up here. So we have plenty of photos, but most critically, we also have deck layouts. I should point out, however, that it is the Berengaria, which was originally the Imperator, that gets far more coverage in this volume. The Imperator has a full set of deck plans and machinery layouts included. But for those wanting a more technical perspective, then this is great. And literally within one book, you can also check out the differences between the two ships. And that brings me to this one, Brent Holt's SS Leviathan, America's first Superliner, which currently is the most accessible single-volume work on this ship. This is a great book by a first-time author. He is extremely passionate about the Leviathan, and you can feel it from the first page right through to the last. The book is well illustrated and has a great deal of text. Frank Braynard's 6-volume set casts a long shadow, but Brent is able to combine some of the best of those stories into one easily accessible single volume that is fantastically laid out and that is perfect for modern readers. There is a color section which includes some beautiful color artworks, but not all of them are that fantastic. Some, if I can find it, particularly this one here, somehow missed on the publisher's proof and ended up coming out blurry. I don't know how that happened. Now, in retrospect, the Leviathan has come to be remembered as an oddity, a white elephant that somehow never produced a profit. But Brent reiterates the same point that Frank Braynard came to, in that the ship itself was consistently popular and achieved high loads right through the 1920s. But it was a combination of factors, including the constant mismanagement and the Great Depression, that all combined to kill off the positive legacy of this ship. This is a great and accessible book, and there is a detailed bibliography towards the end of this book, which is crammed full of additional references for further reading. For those who want a single volume work on the Leviathan, then this is a solid 4 out of 5 stars. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings our Leviathan literature review to a conclusion. I hope you found both this video and my previous one informative, interesting, and maybe just a little bit entertaining. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can access all my new reviews that come out every week. And if there are any books about ocean liners or any ship in particular that you would like reviewed, please let me know in the comments below. And until the next time, happy reading, everyone!